Hello, YouTube. This is going to be a video on a number of issues. Two of them are not on any specific topic going on at the moment, by the way, but I wanted to talk about and kind of balance that out with other things going on right now. And all of these topics, especially really largely the first one, and just in general, but really I guess the first one can be found on my blog on Twitter, Humanist Philosophies, that I suggest other people check out. But this is going to be on a number of issues. But one thing I have noticed today was a person, Jenna Slates, whoever that is. Thank you, my regular one person to watch for a minute and then tune out. This is going to be on a person, Jenna Slates, who said that basically said that black cartoon characters need to be specifically black. Now, I'm not sure exactly where she's coming from with that or her exact meaning, but I would like to also inform you, or rather remind you, we are talking about fictional characters here. You are talking about imaginary people that don't fucking exist. These are fictional characters. We are talking about cartoon characters in this case. I guess there was a cartoon character named Big Mouth on a show that I have not seen. And to me, this is, first of all, I would like to remind you that we have had Spider-Man, by the way, be played by a black guy. Thor was played by a woman, and that's not racial, but it's ultimately very similar. And I'm sure you have had other Icelandic and Nordic characters played by black characters and so forth, even though that does not fit the world and or racial demographics of the time it happened in. And we're okay with this. And there's a very simple reason why. Because they're fictional fucking characters. And again, it goes back to this notion that I have expressed for years. The concept of anti-racist, when used by some people, is not very much different from the Ministry of Truth in the George Orwell novel 1984. You're basically using that as a vague disguise or guise for what you're really about, and that is the opposite of the thing you say you are, racism. I don't care if you're black, white, or what you are. If you're saying that fucking characters, fictional cartoon characters, should be segregated into races or into race, then you are insane. And I would like to tell you more about this, except for the fact I am struck by the I know, far-fetched ideal. This is complete fucking nonsense. And again, this went from police brutality in the death of George Floyd, a black man who was choked to death by a white police officer, a real issue, into becoming more and more about fucking race and specific issues outside of that, to the point where it got down to statues that ended in the knocking down of our Pike statue. Someone very misunderstood, and I doubt they even knew what statue they were knocking down. And fucking Confederate flags, probably made in a sweatshop in Vietnam by rich white people, probably located in New York, that don't mean anything and is of no use to anyone. And I'm not really against so much is the simple fucking fact that it's pointless and had nothing to do with police brutality or the police assaulting black people or anybody. And again, I feared this would happen, but it's come down to more and more trivial topics by these incompetent elites. And while she may not be, I guess, the richest, most elite person in Hollywood or wherever, she is one of them. She is one of these, in this case, liberal elites, and you have them among the conservatives too. People like Dick Cheney and the Project for a New American Century, conservative elites, neoconservatives ultimately, who are all trying to decide for you and shape your culture above your head with no fucking reason or understanding of what you want or really even concerned for what's best for you. Because they know what's good in the end and the final outcome, and what they really care about is what's good for them. And what's good for them is their bottom dollar, top dollar profit motives. Because they are rich, filthy capitalists trying to lecture to you about what's good and what's not. And it's horseshit and bullshit. And just like I said, it would become a distraction-related topic. Just like I knew when South Carolina's governor, who was a white Republican, for the first time brought up these statues since the fucking George Floyd killing. When before that, everything had been focused on the fucking police involved and fucking police brutality and reforming that in this country. Once that fucking Republican asshole started talking about taking down a statue and said that, everything has become about statues. That was their plan from the beginning, and that was to simply separate and cipher off all the energy directed towards any police brutality and especially racism in the police or the policing or the justice system in this country and police, and let's cipher all of that off to statues and now to what fucking cartoon can be played by who. And by the way, who does this apply to and where does this go? Because from my understanding, though I don't really watch it because I don't give a shit about it, Star Wars was Darth Vader was played by what was a white character. Obviously, he banged some chick and gave birth to Luke. So, Luke, I am your father. Mandela effect, by the way. But anyways, he was voiced by the very black character, or person, actor, James Earl Jones. So then does Darth Vader now become a black character and can only black people play him? Or does he continue to be a white character? Or how in the fuck does this mindfuck work? And who gives a shit? He's a fictional character. This is not, you're talking about Big Mouth on a fucking cartoon. This is not fucking, what's that woman's name on the bus? I can't even think of it, but this is not Harriet Tubman, or whatever her name was, who led the Underground Railroad, or Parks, what was her name? I can't remember, but this is not a historical figure. This is not a serious fucking event. This is a children's cartoon. And these are not real fucking people. These are fictional characters. These are not historical figures. What fucking difference does it make what race they are? This is stupid. You're not only racist, you're insane. Stop trying to be racist and then label it anti-racist. That's horseshit. Anyways, moving on. About another topic. And well, mostly what I've talked about today, largely over the past 2 days, is I'm kind of sick of talking about these obnoxious issues or ideals, is wrestling. And I've been posting a lot of old History Channel documentaries and things like that, and stuff on vampires and stuff on, I don't know, whatever scenario. And I noticed that Winona Ryder, who, by the way, I had no idea was even Jewish, said that supposedly Mel Gibson made a anti-Semitic remark to her once at a party. Now, seeing as Mel Gibson at this point is more famous for being anti-Semitic than he even is for being famous, I don't doubt this. But of course, he denied it. Now, let me say, as a poor person, this doesn't help me pay rent, and I don't know who's telling the truth, though I don't doubt that he did because that's kind of his thing. But regardless, it doesn't help me pay rent, and I'm still broke at the end of the damn day anyways, so I really don't give a shit. I suggest poor people start to look at that the same. And for the NASCAR driver, Bubba Rogers, saying he found a noose in his car and then it turned out to be something else, I find it funny how you were first so quick to jump on the bandwagon and say this was racist, and now you've done a 360 and you're trying to say he lied about it, even though there's no proof of that really either. And here is my fucking scenario, my best guess. As I said about the Justin Bieber sexual assault incident that I've not heard about much recently, if your opinions, if they took a survey and it was one big piece of pie, then it should be one small slice would be maybe that would basically be his, or something, and then the rest of the 99.9% fucking piece of that fucking pie would be, I have no fucking earthly clue whatsoever, because I will defend him here. Just as I did not know it was racist or what it was when he first said so, and I stayed out of the issue because I'm not getting caught in your crap because I don't want to be accused of being racist, although that's impossible to do and have a free mind to think for yourself. I will also defend him and take his side here in this incident and say I have no fucking clue what happened or whether or not he thought it was racist, and no one else could either. Again, hey, I don't know much about cars, and I guess this has something to do with one, but if I found a fucking noose in my car, I might not think it was racist, but I would probably be fucking thinking someone was threatening me. Yeah, that's a plausibility. It's possible. I don't blame him. moving forward and moving on. I would like to bring up the issue of voting for Trump or Hillary in the last election. While I don't like Biden, he is a bit better than Hillary on a number of issues, mainly on the fact that I think had we voted for Hillary, not a lot would have changed from voting for Trump, with the one big, massive fucking exception of a major fucking war type scenario where we would basically be fuck of a lot more involved in a lot of countries. I don't think we would have gotten rid of ISIL, and we would probably be fucking around in Syria a lot more than we are, and we would be in a more wartime scenario type situation. And to Trump's credit, while I don't agree with everything he did, I didn't agree with a lot of Bill Clinton's foreign policy either. Ironic, given the person he's married to, but he was not a very warlike or wartime president for whatever reason. But I didn't agree with all of his war policies or foreign policies either. But I do think Trump has been the least warlike president, at the very least, since Bill Clinton. If not, by the way, Jimmy Carter, who had also had a few incidences of war crime-like behavior that I did not agree with, but by and large, and for the most part, seemed to stay away from war or any more as much as he could, and didn't seem to be any more pro-war than any other president, and largely avoided war. So I will give him credit for that. Moving forward beyond that, basically, I would like to bring this attention to the Young Turks, and these are old issues, kind of. One's more recent than the other. But first, let's start with Anna Kasparian from the Young Turks, who I have had issues with, and a lot of other people have too. And they're very much elitist, kind of social engineer type, left-wing, liberal, that a lot of people, progressives, don't like. And she once made the simple statement that, well, you can have a homeless white guy and he might be poor, but if you clean him up and took him in to get a job, he could probably get one. Well, yeah, that's a good analogy, Anita. I mean, not Anita in this case. Sorry, I was thinking about someone else. But what's her name? Anna. That's a good fucking. That's a good assessment, and you might be correct. And I'm not saying white privilege doesn't exist. And had he been a clean, middle-class, white, well-to-do man, he might very well be able to get a job easier than a black man in that scenario. But here is the problem: he's not. He's fucking homeless, and I don't see many fucking rich people running around grabbing homeless people and cleaning them up and taking them in to get jobs. I don't see that happening. And if he did, what is his fucking resume exactly? Or what would be his fucking job certificate? Like, why would you hire him? What capabilities in or resume or whatever I'm trying to say does he have? What fucking reason would a rich person have to hire him to dig shit for his, like, to even shovel shit? Because and then you would have to argue in barter over the price, because the rich guy would want to pay him a dime for a day's work. Hence why we have such a problem with illegal labor in this country that is exploiting and oppressing the immigrant more than it is anyone who they are taking advantage of and not paying. And I saw not long ago where Smithfield Ham, I believe it was, located in North Carolina, was at one point, I'm not sure if they still do, had a deal with basically Border Patrol or with ICE, where they would turn over so many of the immigrants every so often. So you had so many leaving a month, but only after they had hired more immigrants. So they would then hire more immigrants. So it's not doing anything to really cut down on immigration, because they're still hiring them. And they're also doing this in place of white and black workers, or basically native workers born to this country. But then they would turn in the immigrant who would be sent out or shipped out of the country by these people who hired him, knowing that in the first place, just so they could keep hiring more and ICE would not interfere with them. Now, does that seem like a straightforward legal practice, or does that sound more like a fucking corrupt practice that is very exploitative and and harmful to immigrants as well as the rest of the country? But they did this, and I'm sure they're still doing that. So you're bringing them in, hiring them knowing they're illegal, then turning them over to the fucking Border Patrol or to the immigration services and having them deported just so you can continue to do that because you struck a deal out with these crooked fucks that claim to care about white people being able to get a job, by the way, but they don't. And as they do all of this, you would only hope that they at least got paid before you did this, but probably not, because They're illegal, and you're sabotaging them and sending them to other countries when all they want to do is work and make a paycheck and make a life like anyone else. And any advantage they would have over native workers, you could easily undo or get rid of by simply making them legal. How about legalizing them, nationalizing these people who have been here for years, pay taxes in some cases, and many of them even serve in the military, and helping them so a lot of them, by the way, don't become homeless, and making them legal instead of letting or allowing these rich white cocksuckers to then fucking hire these people and then pay them substandard wages just to be deported anyways, as we have allowed them to do. And then, of course, you have Tyson Chicken, who, by the way, is famous for polluting and fucking up the environment and polluting rivers and stuff with chicken guts and all kinds of pollution and stuff that they send out. And it's a real mess, and they don't have real environmental regulations in this country, and they're able to get away with all kinds of shit. But anyways, moving forward, again, you can argue, yeah, that white guy who is homeless could get that job easier than a white guy, but no, he can't because he's homeless. He's war-torn. He's got fucking shit going on in his mind from Vietnam and shit, you know. His only fucking qualification is he has spoken with the ghost of Abraham Lincoln and knows how to play various musical instruments for crack. He's broke. He's poor. I don't give a shit that he's fucking homeless. He's poor, okay, Anna Kasparian, Young Turks. I don't give a damn what race he is. He's a fucking poor white man. He doesn't have white privilege. And you can take male privilege and cram that shit up your ass because it's totally made up. And I won't even go into detail because it would take too damn long. And how in the hell is Thor a female character, but you want to argue about white people playing black characters? Go get bent. Okay, anyways, moving forward. Then you have fucking Thor, but yeah, Thor's a female, I'm sure. Yeah. Those Norse Vikings, when they invented him, that's what they had in mind. This big guy, in some cases shown with a beard and a Viking helmet, holding up a giant sledgehammer that Triple H got that from. I think it was kind of cool, by the way. But that motherfucker was supposed to be a girl. That's not fucking stealing male culture at all. Not that we have much culture to steal, or at least any that's worth a fuck, other than, I guess, jackass in the NFL, but, you know, whatever. Okay. Then you have Christie, I can't think of his first name, Chink or whatever from Young Turks. I can't think of his name. Anyways, him basically suggesting that Southerners in red states should be made to beg for the handouts from the Democrats. Now, I want to keep what you do. Remember this. First of all, keep what I just said about Hillary Clinton while ago in mind. But second of all, you realize that there are gay and transgender people in other groups that conservatives and Republicans do fuck over and that I'm against, and people that made these stupid laws, bathroom laws like these dumb rednecks vote for, that I'm against, and I don't like or support that either. And I support transgender and LGBTQ rights. But you realize a lot of them are poor, correct? Or poor, right? And they need those handouts and those healthcare rights that you talked about, Trump getting rid of. Had you not gotten rid of them, they would need those rights. So how does the fucking Democrats making these red states beg help them exactly? And or all the other poor white and black people in other groups in the United States, in the South, and in places like that who need this help that you're saying the Democrats should withhold from them and basically make them beg for? And how does that do anything but hurt the Democratic chances of winning and actually turn people on the Democrats? By doing so and by discriminating against certain places to do so, just because you lost an election or some shit, just because that you're supposed to basically ultimately lose in a fair election if they decide to vote for the other guy. That's how way election works. That's democracy. That's the democratic process. And meanwhile, by the way, you won. So why do this? If you're running that, you've won. So it's the same damn thing with Christie once shutting down lanes of traffic in parts of New Jersey. And I'm starting to see why New Yorkers hate New Jersey, by the way. But nevertheless, the fat fuck Christie, a fucking Republican, basically punished certain districts of New Jersey by shutting down lanes of traffic, keeping people, including ambulances and service rescue workers, from getting to places where people that need to be getting there. Basically by closing down lanes of traffic and fucking rush hour as punishment because a certain district didn't vote for him. And you're arguing that Democrats do the same thing. And meanwhile, by the way, what if it is a Hillary Clinton or a Democrat that I honestly don't think of a fuck worth voting for? You support voting for them, but I don't. Do you know why? Because you, like Bill Maher and a lot of other people in Republicans, have money wrapped up in this shit, and you have money riding on the outcome of this. So you have bought into politics, and you are funding certain people, and that's your real agenda, not doing what's right or being progressive. I am progressive, and I am a humanist. You're not. So that's why you want to vote for them and vote for people like a Hillary Clinton that wouldn't do any damn good for this country whatsoever and would probably have taken us to war. But anyways, that is my fucking video for today. And if you want to see more of me in my blogging, then go over to Humanist Philosophies. PHILOS. This book, look up Humanist. Again, I suck at a lot of things. The point is, Humanist Philos, whatever the fuck. Look it up, Humanist Philosophies, and or at Humanist Philos at Twitter. Look me up, P666.